I'm a big dog, big bear, nigga on the line. I'm the predator of the prey that is hiding. Oh my, I have found you, nigga. You run from me, little nigga. You are not fast enough. You are not brave enough. You are out of luck. Now it's time for you to die very rough. You have been warned. There is nowhere to run. You will pay the price. I will take your life. There's no running back. Now your loved ones are so sad. You had a choice, but you failed. I'm a big dog, big bear, nigga on the line. I'm the predator of the prey.
Yep, Ron DeSantis is complete fucking trash. I'd rather have the AOC as the President of the United States of America. Good God. Florida's a fucking shithole. Up yours, Parkinson's. Shout out to that Indian guy. Or whatever, he is, the colored one. Not Tim Scott. Me. But yeah. Trump won without even showing up. God bless DJT. Malt Liquor.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream, my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so fake.
Yep. Trump won the debate by not even showing up. Yeah, I know, guy. He's got to appear in Hotlanta tomorrow, dog, but Trump won by not even fucking showing up. Still fucking winning. Trump 2024. Malt Liquor.
My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the taxi man turned on the radio and the Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. And know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA.
Oh, hold on, dog.
Record in Florida is something that the American people can get behind because they're frankly sick of the noise. There was a lot of noise on that stage. There was a lot of bickering and talking to each other. Ron DeSantis was the guy who was standing up there as a guy who served in the military, who demonstrated how he would use that to be commander-in-chief, and showed that he believes that this is a country in decline and that the Florida blueprint will provide a path for us to get this country back. Byron.
Look, I love my friendship, but I don't know what he's talking about. I thought that Governor DeSantis was fine, but fine was not good enough in this moment. He had to be dynamic.
Facts.
He had to take presence of the entire debate, all the bickering back and forth. And frankly, a lot of the candidates, some of them had really good points. The governor was good, but he wasn't dynamic. And he has to be dynamic because the elephant, the true elephant in the room is Donald Trump. He's massively ahead. And all the policies, Sean, that everybody's talking about, Donald Trump did it. He did it once, he could do it again. That is still the leader in this entire race.
I mean, he's now going to be arraigned tomorrow. This is the fourth time. I believe.
Facts. Trump is still fucking winning. DeSantis fucking trash. Good God. Give me the AOC and that Latino ass. Malt Liquor.
Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Get to the club in my taxi cab. Everybody's looking at me now. Like, who's that chick that's rocking kicks? She gotta be from out of town. So hard with my girls not around me. It's definitely not a national party. 'Cause all
record of success in Florida is something that these candidates didn't want to run against because they're so proud of what he did in Florida and how that's the model for America.
Let me bring Ari, the neutral voice, in here. What do you say, Ari?
Yeah. And I am neutral. My job here is to tell you what I see and just call it as I see it. And I thought Ron DeSantis had the strongest night of any of the candidates on stage.
Fuck out of
He did
here.
it with his answer on lockdowns, reminding people that Florida opened early when it
DeSantis' biggest fucking puppet on the stage. Fucking trash.
about focusing on the future instead of the past. So I thought DeSantis was real good. Second place to me was Vivek Ramaswamy. I mean, that guy he's a blunt force instrument. And he's articulate, he's fast on his feet, and he's not a politician. And that's one of the reasons he's resonating right now. He just says what he thinks, and he says it in a forceful, blunt way. And people are sick of politicians, they're sick of Washington, and that's why Vivek did well.
All right. Thanks, Ari. Appreciate it. Byron, good to see you. Chip, good to see you. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have left this evening. As always, thank you for being with us. Stay with the Fox News Channel for continuing coverage of the 2024 Republican presidential debate. Trace Gallagher is next, and I'm going to be his guest. So stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. I'll be on with Trace. Have a great night.
Good evening, I'm Trace Gallagher.
Yeah. I was not impressed by Ron DeSantis. Take fucking Mike Pence over DeSantis.
Another interesting part of the debate was when the topic turned to the southern border. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has said previously he would authorize the use of deadly force against the cartels at our southern border. So host Martha McCallum asked him, would he be willing to go even further than that? Take a listen.
So, as president, would you support sending U.S. Special Forces over the border into Mexico?
Yes, and I will do it on day one. You have the cartels controlling a lot of part of your southern border. We have to reestablish the rule of law.
And there was another conflict between former VP Mike Pence and Vivek Ramaswamy. This time it was about the idea of doing physical and mental acuity tests if you want to run for office. Take a listen.
We don't need a president who's too old. And we don't need a president who's too young. We need a president who's been there.
I think we do need somebody of a different generation to lead this nation forward.
And Trace, one of the biggest parts of the debate that really stood out to me was the moderators, Brett and Martha, asked everybody on stage, if you support ending funding to Ukraine, raise your hand. The only person on that stage who raised their hand was Vivek Ramaswamy. I'll send it back to you.
He was indeed controversial tonight. Bill Malugin live for us in Milwaukee. Bill, thank you. Let's bring in Sean Hannity. Sean was in
What
the
fucking
spin
nationality
last
is he?
hour. Sean, great to have you on. I want to kind of pick up where Bill left off there because he made a very good point. We all kind of expected that the biggest target would be on Ron DeSantis' back, and it seems like everybody went after Vivek Ramaswamy. And a short time ago, you interviewed Vivek, and he said the following to you. Watch.
The reality is, everybody on that stage had been on a debate stage before. This is my first time in a political debate, and I am thrilled with how it came out. We over-exceeded my expectation. Frankly, even Trump, as an outsider last time around, I think his second debate was a lot better than his first.
Right. What about you, Sean? Are you surprised at the way the debate came out when it kind of focused
Oh, he's
a lot
Hindu,
on the
dog.
debate
He's
thus far?
Hindu.
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, look, he's got such a compelling life story. I think it would grab anybody's attention. But he's also, you know, he came from a family who did not have means. He becomes a multi-billionaire, very successful entrepreneur. He is a good communicator. He's got a great smile, you know, has a likable demeanor about him. And so I'm not surprised at all. I think on some of the issues over time, when there's more scrutiny, he might have more difficulty, you know, persuading some conservatives. However, in terms of his performance tonight, he did it with a smile and a knowledge that I thought was, you know, very impressive. But here's what really stood out the most, Trace, to me, is I'm comparing and contrasting all of the people on that stage tonight with what we now have going on in the country. And I keep saying on my show, how do you reconcile those that want secure borders and those that want amnesty open borders? How do you reconcile law and order and defund the police? How do you reconcile climate change, alarmists, and New Green Dealists with those that want energy dominance and energy independence and America being energy rich in terms of that country? Those that want a peace through strength strategy. There's such distinction and differences. I don't see any middle ground right now between Republicans and Democrats when we finally get to a point where we're in the general election. And frankly, I think, you know, they didn't talk much about it. I don't think Joe Biden knows what day of the week it is. His performance relating to the issue of Maui and Hawaii was nothing short of an unmitigated disaster and disgrace, except he has the cover of his extended press department that's known as the mainstream media.
Yeah, and there was, I mean, a lot of criticism over that and the trip in general. I want to kind of go back to the word you just used about persuasion, about which candidates were persuasive. Do you think any one of these 8 people moved the needle at all, moved the polls at all tonight, Sean?
Nope.
You know, it's going to be hard to tell. You know, when Donald Trump, for them, I thought it was an opportunity. They should have been glad that Donald Trump was not there, in the sense that this now gives them an opportunity to have a night to shine, okay? He dominates the news cycle, very strong personality, huge base. He has a very commanding lead in the polls. So I thought everybody had a relatively good night. I thought Governor DeSantis came off well and came off strong and made his case. I thought Vivek also, similarly. I thought Nikki Haley made her case. And I just think that Tim Scott made his case, Mike Pence made his case. You know, I think they all had their moments. But the one thing that really, the stark contrast to me, is where the Republican Party is in this country and the conservative ideas that they generally have consensus on, with, you know, some disagreements on abortion, funding Ukraine, etc. But overall, I think a plan that would be far better for the American people. Americans are suffering financially. Americans, you know, they cannot afford 8 million illegal immigrants that Joe Biden is allowing into this country. We can't afford the drugs, the human trafficking, the risk of people on our terror watch list getting through. And, you know, add that to everything else, law and order, China aligning with Putin and Russia and Iran. That is a dangerous combination for a president that seems checked out and, frankly, I believe compromised, especially in the case of China and Russia, and I'll add Ukraine to the list.
Lastly, you brought up the former president not being at the debate. You talked about the loyalty issue between Ron DeSantis and the former president, and he said this to you, Sean.
Okay.
I'm loyal to my family, the Constitution, and the Lord our God. I work with other politicians to advance a common agenda, but nobody's entitled to be endorsed or supported. You've got to earn that. And I would, mind you, you know, he started attacking me before I even got reelected.
It seems like the consensus going into this debate, Sean, was that Ron DeSantis needed to have a big night. He's been kind of, he's been losing some points in the polls, needed to have a big night. Did he have the night that he needed, or at least the night that kind of stabilizes his campaign?
No, he didn't.
I thought he came, it was interesting. Laura Ingraham, our colleague and our friend, she thought he got stronger throughout the night. I thought he just came out of the box, very high energy, clearly prepared. I certainly think that he probably came in believing without Trump there that he was going to be target number one because he has that solid second position. I didn't feel anybody laid a glove on him, and I think when you make the case of how well he's done for the state of Florida, it's a compelling case. But you know what? When you have somebody like Donald Trump that far ahead in the polls, that is a huge hurdle for anybody, a huge mountain for anybody to climb. And at some point, he will be getting in this in some way. Now, will he debate future debates? I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball, but he might be tempted. I think I know Donald Trump's competitive nature pretty well. I think he might be tempted at some point to say, you know what, I think I'm going to show up now. And
yeah, he's going to fucking crush it. Just like Luke Combs on this fast car cover, dog. So over there.
You got a fast car, and I want to take it to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car, and I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just to cross the border and into the city. And you and I can both get jobs. Finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. He live with a bottle, that's the way it is. Said his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. So mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said, somebody's gotta take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? Still gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live or die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast it felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone.
Yep. So there you have it. After the first debate, Donald Trump wins again. Trump's America is what it is. Old English 800 brand Malt Liquor is empty, refreshing, and fucking delicious. Zero fucking door foam. Up yours, Reginald.